What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Sunday, May 1st.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate today, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. Got some good pitchers on the slate here today, and one of my favorite pitchers is Corbin Burnes with a 3% pitching advantage over the Chicago Cubs. Corbin Burnes is only giving up a .375 OPS versus righties. He's facing 4 righties, and the Cubs have only hit 15 of his last 59 pitches. That's a .254 batting average. Corbin Burnes is $10,700 FanDuel salary, $500 less on DraftKings, averaging 45 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 1.75, record is 1-0, pitching an average of 98 pitches per game, and Vegas only thinks there's going to be 7 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under, so I like Corbin Burnes here versus the Chicago Cubs. Now I also like Kevin Gausman with an 11% pitching advantage over the Houston Astros. Kevin Gausman only giving up a .496 OPS versus lefties. He's facing 5 lefties here today, and the Astros have only hit 7 of his last 33 pitches. That's a .212 batting average, and Kevin Gausman is $9,900 FanDuel salary, $700 less on DraftKings, averaging 41 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 2.19, record is 1-1, pitching an average of 85 pitches per game. Vegas thinks there's going to be 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Kevin Gausman here versus the Houston Astros. Now I also like Max Fried. If you want to save some salary on DraftKings, Max Fried has a big pitching advantage here over the Texas Rangers, only giving up a .551 OPS versus righties. He's facing 7 righties. Now, Max Fried, he pitches pretty bad versus switch hitters, giving up a 1.095 OPS versus switch hitters. But the good news for Max is that he's not facing any switch hitters here tonight, and he does pitch very well versus lefties, only giving up a .585 OPS versus lefties, facing 2 lefties. So the splits are fantastic for Max Fried, and the Rangers have only hit 6 of his last 28 pitches. That's a .214 batting average. Now Max Fried is only $8,500 FanDuel salary. He is $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 33 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 3, record is 2-2, and pitching an average of 86 pitches per game. So I like Max Fried here versus the Texas Rangers. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Probably one of my favorite plays on the slate. I like Yandy Diaz with a 44% batting advantage over Josh Winder. Yandy Diaz batting a .712 OPS versus righties. Josh Winder giving up a .885 OPS versus righties. Now, although Yandy Diaz does bat better versus lefty pitchers, he's only $2,800 FanDuel salary. He's 1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .298. So I think he is a great first base player. He's also eligible at the third base position. I think he's a great value play here tonight. So I like Yandy Diaz here versus Josh Winder.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Jazz Chisholm Jr. with a 45% batting advantage over Logan Gilbert. Jazz Chisholm Jr. batting 43% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .926 OPS versus righties. Logan Gilbert pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .646 OPS versus lefties. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is $3,300 FanDuel salary, although he is $2,400 more on DraftKings, so I prefer that FanDuel price, averaging 15 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's got a batting average of .298. So I like Jazz Chisholm Jr. here versus Logan Gilbert. Now I also like Ha-Seong Kim with a 33% batting advantage over Mitch Keller. Ha-Seong Kim is batting 23% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .832 OPS versus righties. Mitch Keller pitching 9% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .848 OPS versus righties. So I love the splits here, but Ha-Seong Kim is 0 for 4 versus Keller, but that's not a problem because he's only $2,500 FanDuel salary. He is $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 6, 28, and 29 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Got a batting average of .271. So I like Ha-Seong Kim here versus Mitch Keller. Now I also like Taylor Walls. This is a value play here. Taylor Walls batting 36% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .800 OPS versus righties, and he's only $2,200 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season, has a batting average of .256. So I like Taylor Walls here versus Josh Winder. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Rafael Devers with a 46% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Rafael Devers batting 11% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .866 OPS versus righties. Jordan Lyles pitching 35% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a 1.095 OPS versus lefties. Now, Rafael Devers is only 1 for 5 versus Lyles. That one hit was a double. He's $3,800 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .293. So I like Rafael Devers here versus Jordan Lyles. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? Probably another one of my favorite plays on the slate. I like Willie Adames with a 36% batting advantage over Marcus Stroman. Willie Adames batting 18% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .838 OPS versus righties. Marcus Stroman, giving up a .769 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Willie Adames is 5 for 8, batting a .625 batting average and a 2 OPS versus Stroman. 2 of those 5 hits are home runs. He's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,600 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. Oh, and actually, I thought his batting average was higher than this. So I do like that player versus pitcher history. His salary is reasonable, but he does only have a batting average of .226. I thought it was much higher. I still like the play though. So I like Willie Adames here versus Marcus Stroman.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
I also like Xander Bogaerts, batting against the low-salary pitcher Jordan Lyles. Xander Bogaerts batting 21% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .951 OPS versus righties. Jordan Lyles giving up a .717 OPS versus righties. Xander Bogaerts is 1 for 5 versus Lyles, and he's $3,700 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, and his batting average is .375. Yeah, that's right. It was Xander Bogaerts that has the crazy batting average, not Willie Adames. And Xander Bogaerts is only $300 more than Willie Adames, so I would probably just go ahead and plug in Bogaerts if I got that extra $300. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus Jordan Lyles. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I've been loving this pick for the last week or so. I like Aaron Judge with a 60% batting advantage over Daniel Lynch. Aaron Judge is batting 17% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.051 OPS versus lefties. Daniel Lynch giving up a .728 OPS versus righties. Aaron Judge is 1 for 3 versus Lynch. He's $4,300 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 26, 35, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Then 24.9 the game before that, and 12.2 the game before that. So he's been on fire. He's got a batting average of .293, so I like Aaron Judge here versus Daniel Lynch. Oh, here's one of my favorite plays on the slate. Here he is. This is the guy that I was thinking about. I like Andrew Benintendi. This is probably my absolute favorite play on the slate. He's got a 70% batting advantage over Luis Severino. Andrew Benintendi is batting 27% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .866 OPS versus righties. Luis Severino pitching 43% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .786 OPS versus lefties. And I love this pick because Andrew Benintendi is 12 for 29 with a .414 batting average, a 1.262 OPS versus Severino. 3 of those were doubles. He has a triple and 2 home runs. He's only $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .373. So I like Andrew Benintendi here versus Luis Severino. Now another value play that I like is Aaron Hicks. He's got an 84% batting advantage over Daniel Lynch. Aaron Hicks batting 32% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .901 OPS versus lefties. Daniel Lynch, he is pitching 52% worse to switch hitters, giving up a 1.179 OPS versus switch hitters. So he pitches his worst ball to switch hitters by a pretty big margin. There's no at-bats versus Lynch, but Aaron Hicks is only $2,400 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 15, 9, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, and he has a batting average of .306. So I like Aaron Hicks here versus Daniel Lynch.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.